My son dug a grave. Told me sign everything over or use it tonight. I'm Gordon Taylor. 3 days later, I buried him instead. Not literally. Though after what Austin did, part of me wanted to. See, my boy thought cancer made me weak. Thought 8 months of chemo turned his old man into easy prey. Austin figured he could scare me into signing over my $2.1 million auto empire with threats and shovels. He miscalculated. When Austin handed me those legal papers standing next to that freshly dug hole, something inside me snapped. Not broke, snapped into focus, like a wrench clicking into place on the right bolt size. I made one phone call that night. Changed everything. Because 3 days later, at the Chamber of Commerce ceremony, Austin learned why you never threaten a cancer survivor in front of his entire town. What happened next destroyed his reputation, his inheritance, and his freedom. The best part? I did it all legally. Hope you're ready for this story because it gets wild. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I love hearing from people who've dealt with family betrayal. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for what Austin's ex-wife did when she found out about the grave threat. Let me back up 6 months. March 2023, I got the diagnosis that changes everything. Colon cancer, stage 3. Dr. Sarah Mitchell at University Hospital didn't sugarcoat it. Gordon, we're looking at surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. This is going to be a fight. I'd built Taylor Auto from nothing. Started in 1994 with a $15,000 loan and 1 service bay. 30 years later, we had 47 bays, 23 full-time mechanics, and a business Henderson & Associates valued at $2.1 million. But cancer doesn't care about your success story. The treatment hit me like a sledgehammer. Lost 43 pounds, hair gone, hands shaking so bad I couldn't turn a wrench. Austin saw weakness where I saw temporary setback. "Dad, you're not thinking straight," he'd say during my worst days. "Look at you. You can barely stand up." He started small, questioning my decisions. "Why are you giving Miguel Rodriguez that raise? He's just a mechanic." Miguel had worked for me 12 years, saved 3 customers from carbon monoxide poisoning last winter. But Austin saw expense where I saw loyalty. Then it escalated. "Dad, you need to step back. Let me handle the books." This from a kid who'd never worked a day in the shop, whose business degree from State University taught him everything except how to earn respect. The second sign came during my chemotherapy. I was getting treatment every Tuesday at the cancer center. Austin would drive me, which I appreciated, but he'd spend the whole ride talking about succession planning and tax implications. "Dad, at your age with your condition, we need to be realistic. What if something happens? What if you can't make decisions anymore?" I'd sit there, poison dripping into my veins, listening to my own son plan my funeral. But here's what Austin didn't know. While he was counting my money, someone else was actually running my business, Patricia Wilson, Austin's ex-wife. Patricia had her CPA certification from University of Michigan, 15 years of automotive industry experience. When I got sick, she quietly stepped in to handle the finances. No drama, no demands. Just showed up every morning and kept 23 families employed. The employees loved her. Miguel told me, "Mr. Taylor, Miss Patricia saved us. When you were in the hospital, she made sure every paycheck cleared. Never missed one." But Austin saw betrayal where everyone else saw competence. During one of our Tuesday drives, he exploded. "I can't believe you're letting that woman touch our books. She's not family anymore. She's got no right." "Patricia knows our business better than anyone," I said quietly. "She's manipulating you, using your sickness to worm her way back in. You're not thinking clearly, Dad." That phrase, "you're not thinking clearly." He must have said it 50 times during my treatment, like cancer had somehow damaged my brain instead of my colon. The medical bills started piling up, $156,000 total. Insurance covered most of it, but $34,000 came out of pocket. Austin watched every payment like a hawk. "Dad, this is bleeding us dry. We need to preserve assets, transfer ownership before you rack up more debt." But what Austin didn't see were the other numbers, the expansion contracts Patricia had been negotiating. Ford and General Motors dealership networks, $760,000 in projected revenue. New 12-bay facility, permits already approved by city planning. He saw a dying man losing money. I saw a business about to explode with growth. By July 2024, Dr. Mitchell delivered the news that changed everything again. "Gordon, your latest scans are clean. No evidence of disease. You are officially in remission." I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Strength. But Austin wasn't ready to see his old man as anything but weak. Here's what 30 years of building a business teaches you. Everything you create can disappear in a single signature. Taylor Auto wasn't just a company, it was my life's work. Every hydraulic lift, every tool cabinet, every customer relationship built one honest transaction at a time. The red brick building on Main Street where I'd spent more waking hours than my own home. But more than that, it was 23 families depending on steady paychecks. Miguel Rodriguez with 3 kids in college. Sarah Jenkins, single mom supporting her elderly mother. Tommy Chen saving up for his wedding next spring. These people trusted me to keep the lights on. Austin didn't see people. He saw overhead. "Dad, you're carrying too much dead weight. Miguel's been here 12 years. He should be managing by now, not just turning wrenches. Sarah's always taking sick days for her mom. Tommy spends half his time on his phone. Those people built this business with me," I said. "That's exactly the problem. You're too sentimental. It's not good business." The more Austin pushed for control, the clearer his vision became. Downsize staff, cut benefits, maximize profit margins, turn Taylor Auto into just another corporate service chain. Patricia showed me the numbers Austin didn't want me to see. During my 8 months of treatment, she'd increased revenue by 15%. Profit margins up 12%. Customer satisfaction surveys at an all-time high. "How?" I asked her during one of our quiet meetings. I listened to the employees. Miguel suggested we offer evening appointments for working families. Sarah recommended we partner with the Senior Center for Discounted Services. Tommy figured out how to streamline our inventory system using his phone app. Austin thinks they're dead weight. Patricia's face darkened. Austin thinks anyone who isn't him is dead weight. But here's what scared me most. Austin's legal pressure was working. He'd already contacted 3 attorneys about power of attorney documents, scheduled meetings with estate planners, started telling people I was declining rapidly and needed family intervention. If I stayed silent, here's what I'd lose. First, my employees. Austin had already drafted a restructuring plan that would cut staff by 40%. 12 families suddenly without income, just to pad his profit margins. Second, my reputation. 30 years of honest dealing, and Austin wanted to turn us into a chop shop. Quick fixes, overcharged labor, cheap parts marked up 300%. The Taylor name meant something in this town. Austin would have destroyed that in 6 months. Third, my legacy. I didn't build this business to make my son rich. I built it to prove that hard work and integrity still matter. Austin saw dollar signs where I saw principles. But there was something else Austin didn't know about. Something that would change everything. His gambling problem. Patricia had discovered it by accident while reviewing credit card statements. $89,000 in casino charges. Detroit casinos, weekend trips to Vegas, online poker sites. Austin was hemorrhaging money faster than we could make it. "Gordon, you need to see this," Patricia said, showing me the statements. "He's been using the business credit card. Look at these dates." Every casino charge matched days when Austin had access to company accounts. He wasn't just planning to inherit the business. He was already stealing from it. "How long has this been going on?" "At least 8 months, right around the time you got diagnosed." So while I was fighting cancer, my son was gambling away our future. And now he wanted legal control of everything. If Austin got power of attorney, those 23 employees would lose their jobs. Our customers would get cheated, and the business I'd spent 30 years building would become his personal ATM machine. That's when I realized something. Austin thought I was weak because I was sick. But there's a difference between being sick and being helpless. And I was done being either. The first real confrontation happened on a Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Austin showed up at the shop with a briefcase full of legal documents. "Dad, we need to talk, privately." He'd been building up to this for weeks. Ever since Dr. Mitchell cleared me for normal activity, Austin had gotten more aggressive, more desperate. We went to my office. Same desk I'd sat behind for 20 years. Same coffee-stained Detroit Lions calendar on the wall. Austin opened his briefcase like he was conducting board meeting. "I've been talking to lawyers." I figured. "Dad, you're 74 years old. You just beat cancer. It's time to be realistic about succession planning." "Is it?" Austin pulled out the first document. "Power of attorney forms. This gives me legal authority to make business decisions if you become incapacitated again." "Again?" "Dad, the cancer could come back. You could have a stroke, car accident. Anything could happen." I looked at the papers. Standard language, but the implications weren't standard at all. Austin would control everything. Bank accounts, business decisions, property sales. Everything I'd built would become his personal kingdom. Who drafted these? Morrison, Burke & Associates, best estate planning firm in the county. Expensive firm. Austin's jaw tightened. This isn't about money, Dad. It's about protecting our family's future. Our future, or your future. What's that supposed to mean? I leaned back in my chair. 30 years of negotiating with suppliers had taught me something about reading people. Austin was sweating. Not from heat. From pressure. Patricia showed me some interesting credit card statements. Austin went pale. What statements? Company credit card. $89,000 in casino charges. Want to explain that? Austin's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Then the anger kicked in. You've been spying on me? It's my business, my credit card, my responsibility to know where every dollar goes. Dad, that's not what you think. Really? Because Motor City Casino charged us $4,000 last Tuesday, same day you told me you were visiting clients in Detroit. Austin stood up, started pacing. Okay, fine. I've had some bad luck gambling. But that's exactly why we need these documents signed. I've learned my lesson. I can fix this. By stealing more? I haven't stolen anything. Unauthorized use of company funds for personal expenses, that's theft, son. Austin slammed his hand on my desk. Don't lecture me about theft. You've been letting Patricia steal this business right out from under us. Patricia's been keeping us profitable. Patricia's been manipulating you, using your cancer to worm her way back into our family. She's not in our family. She's my employee, and she's doing excellent work. She's my ex-wife. The words hung in the air. Finally, we were getting to the real problem. Yes, she is, and that's your issue to deal with, not mine. Austin pulled out another document. Dad, sign these papers now, before you make any more mistakes. No. What? I said no, Austin. I'm not signing anything. Austin's face turned red. Dad, you're not thinking clearly. The cancer treatments, the medication, the stress, you're not making good decisions anymore. There it was again. That phrase. Not thinking clearly. My thinking is fine, son. No, it's not. You're letting my ex-wife run our business. You're questioning my judgment about money. You're acting paranoid and suspicious. Am I? Let's call Dr. Mitchell. Ask her about my mental capacity. Austin grabbed the papers, shoved them back in his briefcase. You know what? Fine. We'll do this the hard way. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm not going to stand by and watch you destroy everything we've built. If you won't protect this family's future, I will. He stormed toward the door, then turned back. Dad, I love you. But I'm not going to let you ruin us because you're too proud to admit you need help. After he left, I sat there for 20 minutes, thinking about that conversation, about the fear in Austin's voice. Not fear for me, fear of losing control. That's when Patricia knocked on my door. Gordon, everything okay? I heard shouting. Come in, Pat, we need to talk. She sat down across from my desk. The legal documents? You knew. Austin's been asking employees about your mental condition, trying to get people to say you're not competent anymore. What did they tell him? Patricia smiled. Miguel told him you solved a transmission problem last week that stumped 2 ASC-certified mechanics. Sarah said you caught an accounting error that saved us $3,000. Tommy said if you're losing your mind, he hopes he gets the same disease. I laughed despite myself. Loyal crew. They've been with you for years, Gordon. They know who you really are. And who's that? A man who built something worth protecting, from people who want to destroy it. That night, I went home and thought about Austin's threats. We'll do this the hard way. What did that mean? I didn't have to wait long to find out. 2 days later, Austin showed up at my house with a shovel. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in months. I drove to Dr. Mitchell's office for a voluntary checkup. Gordon, you're not due for another scan until December. Everything feeling okay? Physically, I feel great, but I need something from you. I explained Austin's pressure campaign, the legal documents, his claims about my mental capacity. I need documentation, written proof that I'm mentally competent. Dr. Mitchell frowned. Gordon, has Austin actually filed for guardianship? Because that's a serious legal process? Not yet. But he's building a case. I can feel it. She spent 45 minutes putting me through every cognitive test she could think of. Memory recall, problem solving, decision-making scenarios, math problems, pattern recognition, basic reasoning skills. Gordon,
Your cognitive function is excellent, better than most people half your age. Can you document that? Absolutely.
I'll prepare a full neurological assessment report. Date it, sign it, put it on official letterhead.
Thanks, Doc. I might need it.
Gordon, be careful. Family disputes over money can get ugly fast. Driving back to the shop, I thought about what Dr. Mitchell said. Ugly fast. Austin was already escalating beyond normal family arguments. At the shop, I found Patricia in the office, working on quarterly projections. Patricia, I need to ask you something personal. She looked up from her spreadsheets. Shoot. When you and Austin divorced, how bad did it get? Her expression darkened. Why do you ask? Because I think Austin's about to do something desperate, and I need to understand how he operates when he's cornered. Patricia set down her pen. Gordon, Austin doesn't just get angry. He gets vindictive. During our divorce, he tried to have me fired from my previous job. Called my boss, told him I was unstable, unreliable. Did it work? No, because I had documentation. Performance reviews, client testimonials, attendance records. Austin's good at making accusations, but he's terrible at backing them up with facts. What else? He tried to turn my friends against me, spread rumors about why our marriage failed, made up stories about my character, my work ethic, my integrity. But people who actually knew me saw through it. The truth has a way of revealing itself, Gordon. Austin can manipulate people for a while, but eventually his lies catch up with him. That afternoon, I made a decision. I called Henderson and Associates, the firm that had appraised our business. Mr. Henderson, this is Gordon Taylor. I need an updated business valuation. Gordon, we just did one 6 months ago, $2.1 million, remember? Things have changed. Revenue's up, we've got new contracts, expansion plans. I need current numbers. When do you need it? Soon as possible. The next day I did something else Austin didn't expect. I visited Morrison, Burke & Associates, the same law firm Austin had used to draft his power of attorney documents. Mr. Morrison, I'm Gordon Taylor. My son Austin brought some documents here last week. Yes, power of attorney forms, standard estate planning. I want to know exactly what those documents would allow him to do. Morrison pulled Austin's file. Broad financial powers, bank accounts, business decisions, property sales. Essentially, he'd have complete control over your assets. Could he sell the business? With these documents? Absolutely. Wouldn't even need your signature. What about safeguards? Oversight? There are some basic reporting requirements, but, frankly, most families don't use them. Power of attorney is based on trust. And if I wanted to revoke that power later? Morrison hesitated. If you were mentally competent, yes. But if Austin has medical documentation suggesting you're not, it becomes complicated. Walking back to my truck, I understood Austin's strategy. Get me declared mentally incompetent, gain legal control, sell everything before I could fight back. But Austin had made one critical mistake. He assumed I was the same broken man from 8 months ago. That evening, I called Patricia at home. Pat, I need to know something. During my treatment, you negotiated those Ford and GM contracts. How solid are they? Very solid. $760,000 in guaranteed revenue over 2 years, plus renewal options. What would happen if someone tried to break those contracts? Massive penalties, plus loss of certification status with both manufacturers. It would basically destroy our reputation in the industry. Would Austin know that? Austin's never read a contract in his life. He sees dollar signs, not details. So if he gained control of the business, he'd probably try to cash out immediately. Sell to some corporate chain, take the money, and run. Those contracts would become someone else's problem, leaving our employees unemployed. Exactly. That night, I made a decision that would change everything. I called Patricia back. Pat, I want to make you an offer. A business proposal. What kind of proposal? Come to my office tomorrow morning, 9 sharp, and bring your CPA credentials. The next morning would set everything in motion. September 20th, the day Austin brought the shovel. I was in my office reviewing Patricia's expansion projections when Austin's truck pulled up outside. He got out carrying something from the truck bed. A long-handled spade still had the price tag from Home Depot. Dad, we need to have a serious conversation. About what? About reality. About what happens when old men make stupid decisions. He walked around to the back of the shop. Our property extends about 2 acres behind the building. Mostly storage for old parts, a few abandoned cars we use for training apprentices. Come with me, Dad. Something in his voice made me follow. Austin walked to a spot about 50 yards behind the building. Loose soil, easy digging. He'd obviously scouted the location.
Austin, what are you doing? He started digging. Not talking, just digging. Rhythmic, determined, like he'd planned this exact moment. After 20 minutes, he had a hole. Not deep, maybe 3 feet, but long enough for a person to lie down in. Austin, Dad, this is our family cemetery plot. Great-Grandpa Taylor is buried about 100 yards that way. Grandpa's next to him. Mom's over there under the oak tree. He was right. Our family had owned this land for 80 years, 4 generations of Taylors resting in our private cemetery. This spot? This is for you, Dad. He climbed out of the hole, breathing hard, sweating through his shirt. Now here's the deal. You can sign those papers I brought last week. Transfer control of the business to me like a smart man. Or you can be stubborn, make bad decisions, and end up sleeping here a lot sooner than you planned. I stared at him. My own son. Standing next to a grave he'd dug for me. You threatening me, Austin? I'm giving you options. Smart option or stupid option. Your choice. And if I choose the stupid option? Austin's face went cold. Dad, stress kills cancer survivors. Financial stress, family stress, business stress. Doctors say you're recovered, but we both know that could change overnight. So you're hoping I die? I'm hoping you make the smart choice. Sign the papers, retire peacefully. Let me handle the business decisions. I walked around the hole, measured it with my eyes. Austin had done good work. Professional job. How long did this take you? 2 hours this morning. You plan this out, or just wake up and decide to dig your father's grave? Dad, stop being dramatic. It's just dirt. Just dirt. Where you want me to sleep. Austin wiped sweat from his forehead. Look, I didn't want it to come to this. But you forced my hand. You won't listen to reason. You won't sign the documents. You won't admit you need help. So you dug me a grave. I'm showing you the consequences of bad decisions. You keep going down this path. This is where you end up. I looked at Austin. Really looked at him. Saw something I'd been denying for months. He wasn't just greedy. He was desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. Austin, you got gambling debts beyond those casino charges? His face twitched. What? Simple question. You owe money to people who don't take IOUs? Dad, that's not... This isn't about gambling. Isn't it? Because a man doesn't dig his father's grave unless he's got serious problems. Austin threw the shovel down. Fine, yes, I owe money. But that's exactly why I need control of the business. I can pay everyone back, get clean, start over. How much money? Dad, how much, Austin? His voice got quiet. Including the casino stuff? About 200,000. I felt like someone had punched me in the gut. 200,000. Our entire quarterly profit. Who do you owe? Some guys in Detroit. They're not patient guys, Dad. They threaten you? They threaten my family. They know where I live. They know where you live. Now I understood. This wasn't just about inheritance. Austin had gotten in deep with loan sharks, and they wanted their money. Fast. So you figure, get control of the business, liquidate everything, pay off your debts. It's the only way out. What about the employees, the customers, the contracts? Dad, I don't have time to worry about employees. These guys want their money in 30 days or things get ugly. I walked back toward the shop. Austin followed, babbling justifications. Dad, you have to understand. I didn't plan for this to happen. It just snowballed. First it was just weekend poker games, then bigger stakes, then I was chasing losses. Stop, Dad. Just stop talking, Austin. We reached the back door of the shop. Through the window I could see Miguel working on an engine, Sarah updating customer files, Tommy organizing inventory, 23 people who trusted me to make good decisions. Austin, you know what your problem is? What? You think everyone else is as selfish as you are. His face got red. What's that supposed to mean? You think Patricia's manipulating me because that's what you do in her position. You think I'm not thinking clearly because that's what you'd say if you were desperate. You think I should sacrifice 23 families to save your gambling addiction because that's what you do. Dad, that's not fair. You dug my grave, son. We're way past fair. That's when I pulled out my phone and made the call that would change everything. Patricia, it's Gordon. Can you come to the shop? Bring those power of attorney documents we discussed. The ones you asked me to draft, those are the ones. And Patricia, bring a witness, someone who can notarize signatures. Austin went pale. Dad, what are you doing? Making the smart choice. You're signing the papers? I'm signing papers, just not the ones you expected. Patricia arrived 20 minutes later with Jennifer Clark, the notary from First National Bank. Austin watched them approach, confusion spreading across his face. "Dad, who's Jennifer?" "Notary Public. We're going to make some business decisions today." I thought you were going to sign my documents." "Austin, I am going to sign documents. But first, I want you to meet your new boss." Austin looked at Patricia.
What? Patricia Wilson, MBA from University of Michigan, CPA certification, 15 years automotive industry experience. As of today, she owns 51% of Taylor Auto. The color drained from Austin's face. "Dad, you can't." "I can, and I did. Jennifer's going to notarize the transfer documents right now." Austin looked at the hole he'd dug, at the shovel, at Patricia, at me. "Dad, please, I'm your son. Yes, you are, and maybe someday you'll remember what that means." But the real showdown was still coming. 3 days later, at the Chamber of Commerce award ceremony, in front of 180 people who knew both of us. September 23rd, Chamber of Commerce Annual Awards Ceremony, Riverside Community Center, 6:30 in the evening. I'd been nominated for the Business Excellence Award. 30 years of service to the community, Employer of the Year 3 times running, Taylor Auto's reputation for honest dealing. The kind of recognition that means something in a small town. Austin didn't know I'd been nominated, hadn't talked to me since the grave incident, but word gets around in business circles. When Austin walked into the community center that evening, his face went pale. 180 people in burgundy velvet chairs. Mayor Williams at the head table, Bank President Johnson, every business owner and community leader in town. Austin hadn't planned on an audience. He found me near the back, sitting with Patricia and Miguel. I'd invited my key employees to the ceremony. Patricia in a sharp business suit, Miguel in his best shirt and tie, people who'd earned their place at the table. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "I'm nominated for an award, son. Business Excellence." Austin sat down heavily. "Dad, we need to talk about what happened the other day." "Do we?" "I was upset, stressed about money. I said some things I didn't mean." "You dug me a grave, Austin." Patricia and Miguel exchanged glances. This was their first time hearing details about Austin's threat. "Dad, please, keep your voice down." But it was too late. The conversation had attracted attention, people turning in their chairs, straining to hear. Mayor Williams approached the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen, if we could begin this evening's program." Austin leaned over. "Dad, after the ceremony, we need to fix this. The business transfer, the legal documents. We can work something out. Can we?" "Dad, I'm your son. Family comes first." That's when Patricia spoke up. "Austin, family doesn't threaten to bury each other alive." Austin's voice got loud. "This is none of your business. This is between me and my father." "Actually," Patricia said quietly, "as majority owner of Taylor Auto, this is exactly my business." The words carried across the room. Majority owner. People started whispering, turning around completely now. Austin's face went red. "Dad, tell me you didn't actually sign those papers." "I signed them. Jennifer Clark notarized them. It's done." "You gave away our family business to my ex-wife?" "I gave it to the person who earned it." Austin stood up, voice carrying to the front of the room. "Dad, you're not thinking clearly. You're still recovering from cancer. You're making decisions based on emotion, not logic." Mayor Williams paused at the podium. "Is everything all right back there?" Austin turned toward the mayor. "Actually, no. My father is having some health issues, making poor business decisions. I'm trying to help him, but he won't listen to family." The room went silent. 180 people staring at us. I stood up slowly. "Austin, that's enough." "Dad, these people need to know. You're not capable of running a business anymore. The cancer treatment affected your judgment." That's when Dr. Sarah Mitchell stood up from her table near the front. I hadn't seen her come in. "Excuse me, but I'm Gordon Taylor's oncologist. Mr. Taylor's cognitive function is excellent. I have current medical documentation proving his mental competency." Austin's mouth opened and closed. "Dr. Mitchell, you don't understand the full situation. I understand that you're publicly questioning your father's mental capacity without medical evidence." Mayor Williams stepped down from the podium. "Perhaps we should take this conversation outside." "No," I said. "Let's handle this right here, in front of everyone." I turned to face the room. "Most of you know me. I've done business in this town for 30 years. Built Taylor Auto from 1 bay to 47 bays. Employed local people, supported local charities, paid my taxes, kept my word.
Nods around the room. These people knew my reputation. 3 days ago, my son Austin dug a grave in our backyard and told me I had 2 choices: sign over my business to him or plan on using that grave sooner than expected.
Gasps from the audience. Mayor Williams looked shocked. Austin tried to interrupt. Dad, that's not what happened. You dug a hole, Austin, 3 feet deep, 6 feet long. Told me stress kills cancer survivors. Said I should make the smart choice or end up sleeping in that hole. Patricia pulled out her phone. I have photos of the grave site taken the next morning. Austin left the shovel right next to the hole. More gasps. People pulling out their own phones, some recording now. Austin's voice cracked. Dad, you're making this sound worse than it was. I was just trying to make a point about mortality, about planning ahead. You were trying to scare a cancer survivor into signing over his life's work. Bank President Johnson stood up. Austin, is this true? Did you threaten your father? It wasn't a threat. It was a wake-up call. Dad's not thinking clearly. He's making terrible business decisions, giving away our family business to someone who's not even family anymore.
Patricia Wilson is family, Miguel called out. She kept us employed when Mr. Gordon was sick. She earned our respect. Miguel's right, Sarah Jenkins added. Patricia saved our jobs. Austin never even worked in the shop. Tommy Chen stood up. Mr. Austin, you told me I spend too much time on my phone, but my inventory app saved the company $12,000 last quarter. One by one, Taylor Auto employees started standing, defending Patricia, defending me, explaining how the business actually worked while Austin was busy gambling. Austin looked around the room, saw the faces of people who'd known him since childhood, saw their disappointment, their disgust. This is ridiculous, he said. You're all being manipulated by a woman who's using my father's sickness to steal our family business. That's when Jennifer Clark, the notary, spoke up. Mr. Austin, I witnessed your father's signature 3 days ago. He was completely coherent, asked detailed questions about the legal implications, understood exactly what he was signing. There was no coercion, no manipulation. And, Dr. Mitchell added, I have Gordon's neurological assessment from that same day. Perfect cognitive function. Better than most people half his age. Austin looked trapped, surrounded by facts that contradicted every claim he'd made. Dad, he said quietly, please, I'm sorry about the grave thing. I was desperate. I owe money to some dangerous people. I need help. You need help, son, but not from me. What's that supposed to mean? I pulled out a manila folder. Kent County Sheriff's Department, case number KC 2023-1156. Cocaine possession. August 15th, 2024. Austin's face went white. How did you... Patricia found it doing background checks for insurance purposes. Turns out our business liability coverage doesn't extend to employees with recent drug convictions. Austin looked around the room. 180 people staring at him. Business leaders, community members, people who'd known his family for generations. Dad, don't do this. Not here. Not in front of everyone. Austin, you made this public when you questioned my mental capacity in front of the entire Chamber of Commerce. Mayor Williams cleared his throat. Gordon, should we proceed with the award ceremony? Actually, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make an announcement first. I turned back to the audience. Effective immediately, Patricia Wilson is the new majority owner of Taylor Auto. She'll be implementing an expansion plan that will create 15 new jobs over the next 2 years. Applause rippled through the room. And Austin? My son looked at me with eyes full of shame and desperation. Austin, you're no longer employed by Taylor Auto. Security will escort you from the premises if you attempt to return. The applause died. Even in a room full of people disgusted by Austin's behavior, firing your own son felt heavy. Austin's voice was barely a whisper. Dad, you can't. I need this job. Those guys I owe money to. Should have thought about that before you dug my grave. Austin looked around the room one more time. Saw nothing but judgment in every face. Then he walked out of the community center without another word. Mayor Williams returned to the podium. Well, I think we can safely say this year's Business Excellence Award goes to Gordon Taylor. The applause was different now. Not just recognition for business achievement, but respect for handling an impossible family situation with dignity. As I walked to the front to accept the crystal trophy, I caught Patricia's eye. She was smiling, but there were tears on her cheeks. After 30 years of building something worth protecting, I'd finally found someone worthy of inheriting it. The next morning, Patricia and I met at First National Bank to finalize the business transfer. Jennifer Clark had prepared all the documents: stock transfer agreements, updated business registration, new signature cards for company accounts. Everything legal, everything documented, everything permanent. "Gordon, are you absolutely certain about this?" Jennifer asked. "Transferring majority ownership is irreversible." "I'm certain." Patricia sat across from me at the conference table. "Gordon, I want you to know something. This isn't about revenge against Austin. This is about protecting what you built. I know. The employees, the customers, the reputation you've earned, I won't let anyone destroy that. That's why I chose you. We signed document after document. Patricia Wilson, 51% owner. Gordon Taylor, 49% owner. Austin Taylor, 0% owner. What about succession planning?" Jennifer asked. "If something happens to either of you?" Patricia looked at me. "I'd like your thoughts on that, Gordon." "Miguel Rodriguez, 12 years with the company, AS Master certification, respected by everyone. He should have the opportunity to buy in as partner." "Agreed. More signatures, more documents. Miguel Rodriguez, designated successor with option to purchase 25% ownership over 5 years." When we finished, Jennifer smiled. "Congratulations. You're now the proud owner of a thriving business." Patricia laughed. "No, Jennifer, we're now the proud owners of a thriving business." That afternoon, we called an all-hands meeting at the shop. 23 employees gathered in the main bay. Miguel, Sarah, Tommy, and 20 others who'd built Taylor Auto with their hands and loyalty. "Everyone knows what happened at the chamber ceremony last night," I said. "Austin's no longer with the company." Some nods. No one looked surprised. "Patricia Wilson is now majority owner. I remain as minority partner and senior advisor." Tommy raised his hand. "Mr. Gordon, what does this mean for us?" Patricia stepped forward. "It means job security. It means the expansion plans we've been discussing are moving forward. It means 15 new positions over the next 2 years." Sarah spoke up. "What about benefits?" "Improved health insurance package starts next month. Dental and vision included." Miguel grinned. "What about that profit-sharing plan you mentioned? 10% of quarterly profits distributed among employees based on performance and tenure." The room erupted in cheers. These weren't just jobs anymore. These were careers with futures. After the meeting, Miguel pulled me aside. "Mr. Gordon, I heard about the succession plan, the partnership opportunity. You interested?" "Sir, I've worked for you 12 years. Best job I ever had. If you think I'm ready for ownership." "Miguel, you've been ready for years. I just needed to find the right structure." That evening, Patricia and I stayed late going over expansion contracts, the Ford dealership agreement, the GM service certification, the new 12-bay facility permits. "Patricia, can I ask you something personal?" "Sure. Why did you really help me during the cancer treatment?" "You and Austin were already divorced. You had no obligation." Patricia set down her pen. "Gordon, when I married Austin, I thought I was joining your family, the Taylor family. People who worked hard, treated others fairly, built something worth preserving. But Austin never understood what made your family special. He saw dollar signs where you saw relationships. He saw overhead where you saw loyalty. So when I got sick, I saw a chance to prove that some people still believe in doing the right thing, even when no one's watching. Even when it cost you personally?" "Gordon, helping you cost me nothing. It gave me purpose." We worked until 9:30, finalizing details for the Ford contract signing scheduled for next week. $760,000 in guaranteed revenue, the biggest deal in Taylor Auto's history. As we locked up the shop, Patricia paused at the front door. "Gordon, do you think Austin will try to fight the business transfer? Legal challenges, family pressure?" "Maybe. But we have documentation for everything. Medical records proving my competency, witness statements about his threats, criminal background checks, financial records showing his gambling debts. What about the family angle? Blood relations, inheritance rights?" "Patricia, I've been thinking about that. Austin chose to dig my grave instead of earning my respect. Family is about more than blood." "What do you mean? Miguel's been loyal for 12 years. Sarah's never missed a deadline. Tommy invented an app that saves us thousands. You kept us profitable during the worst 8 months of my life." I looked back at the shop. 47 service bays, 23 employees, 30 years of honest work. Austin thinks he deserves this business because he's my son, but inheritance isn't a birthright. It's a reward for proving yourself worthy. And Austin never proved himself. Austin proved he was willing to threaten his sick father's life for money. That tells me everything I need to know about his character. Patricia smiled. So what happens now? Now we build something even better. Expand the business, create jobs, serve customers the right way. What about Austin? I thought about my son. Somewhere in town, probably at a bar, trying to figure out how to pay off $200,000 in gambling debts without the family business to liquidate. Austin made his choices, dug his own grave, literally. Now he gets to lie in it. The next morning, we found out exactly how Austin planned to handle his new reality. Friday morning, September 25th, Patricia and I arrived at the shop to find 3 missed calls on the office phone, all from the same number. Gordon, this is Detective Ryan Murphy, Kent County Sheriff's Department. Please call me back regarding Austin Taylor. It's urgent. I called back immediately. Detective Murphy, this is Gordon Taylor. You called about my son? Mr. Taylor, Austin was arrested last night. Breaking and entering, attempted burglary. He tried to break into your business after hours. My heart sank. Is he okay? Physically, yes, but we need to talk. Can you come down to the station? An hour later, Patricia and I sat in Detective Murphy's office, looking at security camera footage from our own shop. Austin arrived around 2 a.m., Murphy explained. Used a crowbar on the back door, went straight to the office. Triggered your silent alarm after 12 minutes inside. On the screen, we watched Austin rifling through filing cabinets, searching desk drawers, looking increasingly desperate. What was he looking for? Patricia asked. Bank account information, checkbooks, anything he could use to access company funds. When our officers arrived, he was trying to break into your safe. Did he take anything? Small amount of petty cash, maybe $40. But here's the problem. This isn't his first arrest this month. Murphy pulled out another file. September 12th, Austin was caught shoplifting at Meyer. Cologne, expensive items he could resell. August 28th, he bounced 3 checks at different banks. July 15th, public intoxication outside Motor City Casino. A pattern of escalating desperation. Detective, what happens now? Austin's being held on $5,000 bond. Breaking and entering is a felony. Combined with his recent cocaine possession charge, he's looking at serious prison time. Patricia and I exchanged glances. Has he called anyone for bail money? He called you 17 times last night. When you didn't answer, he called his ex-wife. Murphy looked at Patricia. That would be you, I assume? I didn't answer either. Smart choice, because here's what Austin told our booking officer. He claims you two conspired to steal his inheritance while he was dealing with addiction issues. That's ridiculous, I said. We know. We pulled the business transfer records. Everything's legal, properly documented, witnessed by multiple people. Austin has no legal claim. Murphy closed the file. Mr. Taylor, I have to ask, do you want to press charges? The question hung in the air. My son, sitting in a jail cell facing felony prosecution. The same son who dug my grave 3 days earlier. Detective, if I don't press charges, what happens? Austin probably gets probation for breaking and entering, but the cocaine charge still stands. And if he keeps escalating, someone else will press charges eventually. And if I do press charges? Combined with his other offenses, Austin's looking at 2 to 5 years in state prison. 2 to 5 years. Enough time to get clean, think about his choices, maybe learn something about consequences. I need time to think about it. Understood. But Mr. Taylor, document everything. Security footage, financial records, witness statements. Austin's desperate, and desperate people don't stop escalating until something forces them to stop. That afternoon, word spread around town. Austin Taylor arrested for trying to rob his own father's business. Small-town gossip travels fast. Miguel approached me during lunch break. Mr. Gordon, employees are worried about Austin coming back, causing more problems. What kind of problems? He knows where we all live, knows our schedules. Some people are scared he might blame us for supporting Miss Patricia. Sarah joined the conversation. Mr. Gordon, Austin called my house yesterday, drunk, angry, saying we betrayed the Taylor family. What did you tell him? I hung up, but he called back 3 times. Tommy approached from across the garage. Mr. Gordon, Austin showed up at my apartment complex last night. Security cameras caught him trying to slash my tires. This was escalating beyond family drama. Austin was targeting my employees. Patricia, we need to talk, privately. In my office, I explained the harassment reports. Gordon, this is exactly what I was afraid of. Austin's not just angry at us. He's angry at everyone who supported the business transfer. What do you think we should do? Press charges. Full prosecution. Austin needs professional help. and he's not going to get it until something forces him to face reality. That evening, I called Detective Murphy. "Detective, I've made my decision. I want to press full charges." "You sure about this, Mr. Taylor? Austin threatened my life, tried to steal my business, and now he's harassing my employees. Someone needs to stop him before he hurts innocent people." "Understood. We'll proceed with prosecution." After I hung up, I sat in my empty office thinking about choices and consequences, about the difference between enabling and helping, about tough love and family loyalty. Austin had forced this decision by escalating beyond reason. Now he'd have time in prison to think about whether revenge was worth destroying every relationship he'd ever had. 6 months later, Taylor Auto had become something I'd never imagined possible. The expansion was complete. 59 service bays, 38 employees, partnerships with Ford and GM that generated over $1 million in annual revenue. Patricia had turned my 30-year business into a regional powerhouse. Miguel signed his partnership agreement in March. 25% ownership, earned through 12 years of loyalty and demonstrated leadership. He now managed daily operations while Patricia handled strategic planning and I served as senior advisor. The profit-sharing program had transformed company culture. Employees weren't just working jobs anymore. They were building careers, investing in their futures, taking pride in collective success. Austin was serving 18 months at Northville Correctional Facility. He'd pled guilty to breaking and entering, cocaine possession, and harassment charges. The prosecutor recommended substance abuse counseling and anger management as conditions of parole. I visited him twice. Both times he asked when he could come back to work. "Austin, you tried to rob the business you wanted to inherit." "Dad, I was desperate, scared, not thinking clearly." "You dug my grave, son." "I know. I'm sorry. Can we move past this?" "Moving past it and trusting you again are different things." "What do you want me to do? I can't undo my mistakes." "I want you to prove you understand why those mistakes hurt people. Not just because you got caught, but because you chose to threaten and steal instead of earning respect." Austin looked confused. Like the concept of earning respect through behavior instead of demanding it through family status had never occurred to him. "Dad, I'm your son. That has to count for something." "It counts for my willingness to visit you in prison. It doesn't count for automatic forgiveness or restored trust. Our last conversation was 3 weeks ago." "Dad, when I get out, can I have a job? Any job. I'll start at the bottom, work my way up." "Austin, you'd be working for Patricia and Miguel. They'd make that decision, not me." "They'd never hire me." "Probably not. You tried to steal their livelihood." "So what am I supposed to do?" "Build something new. Prove you can create value instead of just taking it." "With what money? What skills? What connections?" "Same way I started 30 years ago, with a $15,000 loan and a willingness to work harder than anyone else." "Dad, that's not fair. You had advantages I don't have." "Austin, I had cancer. You have youth, education, and a clean slate if you choose to use it." Today, Patricia and I were reviewing quarterly reports. 15% revenue growth, 22% profit increase, 0 employee turnover. "Gordon, I've been thinking about succession planning. Miguel's doing great as operations partner. I mean long-term. You're 74, I'm 41, Miguel's 36. What happens when you want to retire completely?" I'd been thinking about the same question. "What do you think should happen?" "Honestly, I think Miguel should have the opportunity to buy you out, become equal partner with me." "Why, Miguel?" "Because he understands what you built here. Not just the business model, but the culture, the values, the commitment to treating people fairly." "And Austin?" Patricia's expression softened. "Gordon, Austin's your son. If he ever proves he's changed, really changed, there might be a place for him here, but not as an owner, not as management. He'd have to earn trust the same way everyone else does." Starting at the bottom. That evening I drove past the family cemetery behind the shop. The hole Austin had dug was still there, covered now with plywood and marked with caution tape. A reminder of choices and consequences. I'd survived cancer, family betrayal, and the hardest decision a father can make, but I'd also discovered something valuable. Blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. Patricia, Miguel, Sarah, Tommy, and 23 other people had proven their loyalty when it mattered most. They'd earned their place in the Taylor Auto family through actions, not genetics. Austin would have to do the same.
If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. And remember, respect isn't inherited. It's earned one honest day at a time.